The human body's not designed to consume nutrients in isolation. Also, a little housekeeping, May 18th and 19th, which is next week, we will be doing our virtual conference with Coach Tab, Kristen the dietitian, my son Matt, and myself. So again, if you haven't looked at that, check it out, but that's going to be May 18th and 19th. If you haven't checked them out, Workout Wednesdays, Matt actually had a really good one today on posture and bicep movements. So we will be bringing that to you. So that's Workout Wednesdays if you haven't signed up for that. Also, my new book. If you order the book off of our website, you will also get the audio. And unfortunately, the audio is 13 and a half hours with yours truly talking. So again, it comes with that. So if you do order it on Amazon, or you can get it Audible, but if you order it from us, you get the book and the audio together. And one last thing, live speaking has come back slowly. We're still doing quite a few webinars, but my son Matt was in Florida the week before last, and last week I was in LA and New York all in the same week. It's really fun to be out there again. So the world is obviously changing, but the live events are coming back. We're really excited about that. Which led us to this podcast today about supplementation. Now, wherever we go, we always get questions, what supplements should I be taking? Or I'm taking these supplements, what do you think about them? The first thing I want to just touch on real quickly, everybody has their own beliefs. And sometimes their beliefs are so rigid, they're not even opening up. And again, in my book, I have a chapter called Box of Beliefs. So that's the challenge out there. Even I'll talk about beliefs. Are you aware of that? This and that. People still hold tight to their own beliefs. So I get that. So when you get in the supplement world, there's a lot of beliefs around supplementation, good, bad, or indifferent, and it's drastically changing. But the first thing I want to just kind of touch on as we go today is that when you think of supplementation, I Googled this and I said, okay, what is a supplement? This is the definition of a supplement. Something that enhances something when added to it. Okay, that's interesting. And then Wikipedia is dietary supplement. This is verbatim. A manufactured product intended to supplement one's diet by taking a pill, a capsule, tablet, powder, or liquid. And this is Wikipedia's definition. And I think that's where we're going to go sideways a little bit with this. So in my opinion, I look at supplementation as filling in gaps. We all have them. So when you think of Nutrition 101, I'll make this really simple today. Nutrition 101, first, what nutrients are you missing? And I cannot tell you how many people I've sat down with, speaking, conferences, the list goes on. I eat well. I get it. But what are you missing? Are you missing B vitamins? Are you missing vitamin D3? Are you missing omega-3 fats? Are you missing, the list goes on. What are you missing? So that's number one. Number two, what are you not absorbing? And this is where kind of the conversation is going to go. The human body's not designed to consume nutrients in isolation. You just heard Wikipedia's, you take these things in isolation, manufactured in the lab. So what do I mean by that? Well, when you look at some of the things we're taking out there, the supplements, they're in isolation. I'm going to take vitamin C in isolation. I'm going to take vitamin D3 in isolation. I'm going to take lipoic acid, melatonin, everything we're taking in isolation. That's where people, I think, are making the mistake. And I think a lot of people, when I've worked with them, our team's worked with them, people are taking a lot of stuff and they have no idea. That's why we're having this conversation today. So step number one is understanding what is a supplement. In my opinion, it helps you fill in the gaps. But if we really broke this down, what do you need to know? It begins with some simple steps. And step number one is you want to build a foundation of food first. So food is first because food covers lots of ground and nobody's diet is perfect. So when I think about food first, it begins with the 3 macronutrients: carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. That was the genesis behind my food target way back in the day. In 1994, I designed this food target. And why was that? Because people are always confused about nutrition. But today we're talking mostly about supplementation, but it begins with food first. So if we just jump into carbohydrates real quickly, are you eating healthy carbohydrates? I still believe, many people believe, that carbohydrates are the villain. They're not the villain. We need them for gut health. We need them for lots of different things, make your body more alkalized. That's fruits. Are you eating fruit? Don't be afraid of fruit. People are like, oh, they're high in sugar. Of course, that's what they are. If you looked at, are you eating vegetables, ancient grains? I'm not talking about the crummy stuff. In fact, I was in Chelsea, Michigan this weekend, and they had the world's best oatmeal. All it was is oat groats, and they milled it into 100% thick rolled oats. That was it. So it is nature's best oatmeal, in my opinion, but oatmeal is really high in B vitamins. Again, people are taking B6s, B9s, B12s. Let's just get back to some food. And then vitamin C. So again, if I'm eating fruits, I'm getting vitamin C. If I'm eating oatmeal, I'm getting B vitamins, maybe magnesium. So we begin with carbohydrates and upgrading those. Are you eating potatoes, which are high in magnesium, help boost serotonin levels? And then same thing with proteins. Are you eating healthy proteins from animal and plant, or maybe just eat plant proteins? And then we focus on healthy fats. So we want healthy carbohydrates, we want healthy proteins, and we want healthy fats. And then from there, so again, that's the 3 macronutrients. We all can do a better job of upgrading our macronutrients. And that's really when I look at nutrition, back to the food target, the goal is to slowly move from the outside of the target closer to the center of the target, and we get closer to the source. And the second piece is, are you drinking enough water? So when I'm working foundational with people, I don't start with what supplements am I taking. I start with food first. Let's look at some of the food we can do because it covers lots of ground. And then make sure you're hydrating enough. Many people are not drinking enough water. So again, ideally recommend 50 ounces a day, a minimum, and then get closer to half your body weight in ounces. Again, spring's here, summer's coming. For many places around the country, it's warming up. So I want you to think about the water, maybe it's the lemon, whatever, but that's where we begin. And then from there, we talk about what do we need to do? How do we fill in the gaps? Here comes the supplements. So the first thing I want you to understand about a supplement is this. Ask the question, what's the source of the supplement? So I was just in LA last week and I got this question about, supplementation, and I wasn't trying to beat up supplements. I was just saying, hey, listen, what's the quality or the source of the supplement? That's the first thing you answer. Most of the supplements, as you saw from Wikipedia, are coming from a lab. And this is the big takeaway. Is it a live food or is it a manufactured, processed, I call it sometimes a dead food? So if I'm trying to improve my gut health, I want to have more of a live food. So if it doesn't rot, we probably shouldn't eat it. So if I looked at my little apple right here, I just bit into this less than 10 minutes ago. And it's already oxidizing. It means it's a live food. Wow. And that's why apples are so good for gut health, because it's a live food. I put wheatgrass in this cup. And in this cup, these are frozen wheatgrass ice cubes. If I let this sit out for a little while, it will start turning color very quickly. And you can see it's very dark green. If you can't see it, you're not watching this. It's amazingly high in chlorophyll, super dark green. But if I left this out for a while, it will slowly start oxidizing, turning color. That's what we're talking about. Spirulina chlorella, even though it comes in a tablet form, if I left this out, this will start changing color relatively fast. That's why it's in a foil pouch. We keep it in a dark place, and ideally I keep it in a refrigerator. If we slid over here, we have our new product, and it's called a smoothie blend. We're not a fan of protein powders, as we'll talk about in a second. The reason I love the smoothie blend, because it's real food. It's hemp seeds, it's flax seeds, it's chia seeds, it's cacao, all live foods. So when you look at a supplement, the first thing I want you to think about, is it alive or is it dead? That's the big takeaway today is what's the source? So if you looked at flax seeds, we talk a lot about this. Flax seeds are high in fiber, the highest source of fiber of any nutrient in the world. Again, people are taking Metamucil for fiber. You don't need to do Metamucil if you're doing flax seeds. It's much cheaper. But flax seeds are high in fiber. They're high in lignans, which help prevent cancer. They're also high in omega-3 fats, brain health, heart health, natural anti-inflammatory and hormones. You get a cheap coffee grinder. You grind enough up for a couple weeks because the seed itself needs to be basically broken down or you're not going to absorb it. It's not digestible. I was telling you, you'll see it again. So that's what I'm talking about, the source. So now I got the fiber, I got the lignans, I got some magnesium in there, we got some protein in there, we got the omega-3 fats in there by taking that little flax seeds at $1.50 a month. But then we convert it into flaxseed oil, still a good product, but we've lost some of the product along the way and we've lost the fiber. So again, not saying it's a bad thing, we're just moving away from the source. And then we move into the gel tablet or the capsules, and now we keep moving away from the source. If you looked at multivitamins today, people ask me all the time, Chris, do you take a multivitamin? The answer is no. Could I? Should I? I could. But if you choose to do a multivitamin, many people do because, hey, you know what? I'm not eating that great, Chris. What can I do? If you take a multivitamin, make sure you're getting a whole food multivitamin. And what does that mean? So if you saw in the multivitamin, you saw this beta carotene. What is beta carotene? Anything orange. Sweet potatoes, carrots, high in beta carotene. So if it says beta carotene somewhere in the label, you have to look at the ingredient list and you need to see carrots or sweet potatoes or you know it's synthetic. About 90% of our multivitamins today are synthetic. Not a good thing for the human body. In fact, the FDA just came out talking about baby aspirin, why it's not so good for you. We've known it forever. It's killing the gut health. So again, back to the lab. Is it made in the lab or is it made in nature? That's what I want you to think about. So again, supplementation can fill in the gap, but is it made in the lab or is it made in nature? Back to our protein powders. I cannot tell you how many people say to me, you don't recommend protein powders? No. Because I can add to my smoothie, if I want to add more protein, I can add to my smoothie hemp seeds, flax, chia, cacao. I can do all sorts of different things, but then I can add a little bit more. I can add nuts and seeds, Brazil nuts, pumpkin seeds, macadamia nuts. And that's why we came up with a smoothie blend, because people are like, I want to do a protein powder. Well, it puts a lot of pressure on your kidneys. And that's called GFR, glomerular filtration rate. So that's why we're not a fan of it, because we see people's GFR slowly fall because now their kidneys have to break that down back to the source. So if you're trying to add healthy fats or healthy carbohydrates or healthy proteins, the goal is how do we slowly add that in and how do we fill in the gaps? So again, that's why we're a big fan of the smoothie blend, or if you just add some nuts and seeds to it, you're going to get more and more protein to that. So when you think about supplementation, what gaps do you want to fill in? Because I have a whole list here. I mean, if you go to the internet and you look for supplementations, you got stuff for vision, you got stuff for digestive health, have stuff for sleeping. That's a question I get all the time. What about melatonin? Is that good for my sleep? The answer is absolutely not. Why is that? Because melatonin is very difficult to figure out the dosage. Generally, the dosage is 10 to 20 times what the human body is capable of using. So again, it's really not right. So the question is, where does melatonin come from? It comes from serotonin that's made in your gut. So you mean if I get my gut healthier, my body produces more serotonin that makes me feel better, and it produces more melatonin? Exactly right. So when we get out of the mindset that we have to take all these pills and potions and get closer to the source, and how do we fill in the gap? And so years ago, people asked me, you travel around the world speaking, and why don't you recommend certain products? Which I was doing. Why don't you have your own product line? I thought to myself, you know what? We probably need to, because again, we can vet it, we can look at it, we feel like but we're only gonna promote or sell live foods. So again, everything you see on our website is a live food. The wheatgrass, the cod liver oil. Cod liver oil is high in vitamin D3 naturally because the livers are frozen on the boat. That's why we have our own product. It's organic lemon, has pro-resolving mediators, great for your immune system. But people ask me all the time, I'm already taking an omega-3 fat in a gel tablet. Well, you're going to have 10 to 12 gel tablets. Again, we keep moving away from the source. If I can get wild Alaskan salmon, I'm doing it. But that isn't always the case, and now this helps me fill in the gap. So that's why we're a big fan of the cod liver oil. We're a big fan of minerals coming from wheatgrass. We're a big fan of spirulina chlorella because it's freshwater algae, helps your gut health, high in nucleic acid, fantastic for overall health and the immune system. And then we look at real food. So to me, almost every day in my diet, I'm eating an orange, a banana, or an apple. Again, great for my gut health. I'm a big fan of oatmeal on the run. Why? I can add cacao to it, high in B vitamins, high in magnesium, high in antioxidants. Again, it's real chocolate. I like the taste of it too. On top of that, I add some fruit, add some nuts, plant-based milk. It's a balance of carbs, proteins, and fats in a morning breakfast that I start my day off with a high magnesium, B vitamin breakfast, not in a pill form. So that's why we're having this conversation, because I can't tell you how many times we get up on stage and the questions come up. Should I be taking 50,000 units of vitamin D3? No, it's impossible to absorb. Reclast, way back in the day, Reclast was a bone medication. You take it once a year. I mean, common sense tells us, how can we take it now it's off the market? It's been off the market for a long time, but you can see how this thought process comes. I'm just going to take all this stuff, when reality is your body can't break it down. And remember, if it goes in the gut, you're probably going to upset the natural microbiome in the gut. So as we wrap this up, I want to make this really crystal clear today. Nutrition 101. What nutrients are you missing? What gaps do you need to fill? And number two, just because I put it in the body does not mean my body can break it down and absorb it. We got to quit taking less stuff. From here, we focus on food. Healthy carbs, healthy proteins, healthy fats. And we always say if you take a macronutrient out of your diet, you're going to have a macro problem. Am I drinking enough water? And then from there, if I choose to start adding things to fill in the gap, is it alive or is it dead? The more live foods you can put in the body to fill in the gaps, the healthier the human body is going to be, better gut health, better brain health, better overall health. And that's the conversation today is, why are we taking all these potions, these pills, when reality is it really working? It's a chemistry set. Remember, we're not designed to consume nutrients in isolation. Again, I'll say that over and over and over. That's why we really recommend the superfoods, the real food. And again, the more we do that, the better the body's going to be, the healthier it's going to be, and easier it is for you to develop a plan that you can repeat over and over and over and that you love. A little bit about our team members at Ontario Living. Dawn Miller, that's been with me since the beginning, over 15 years. Dawn just got her master's degree in counseling. She just passed her board certification yesterday. She's all excited about that. And she will be leaving us sometime at the end of June. So really excited about her new career. I think she's really excited about that. Steven does our creative. Again, he does all of our videos and things like that. And Steven is getting married in June. And then Mark, that does our e-commerce. And Mark's been with us a long time. And again, if you have any questions about superfoods and things like that, he's your guy. But Mark is also getting married in July. So a lot of things going on. Coach Tab's doing well. My daughter Kristen is still the governor's personal chef or executive chef, and trying to survive with our two young kids. And my son Matt is running the show here at Ontario Living, one of our presenters. And Matt is busy with him and his wife Holly and three more. So Paul and I have 5 grandkids, and Ez actually turns 6, but every one of them is under the age of 5. So again, really busy going on. But a little team, they'll give you a little what's going on with the team. And remember, as I close this down, you have the power to feel your best. We'll see you next time.